All right, everyone. Welcome into Hibernation. I'm Goosey, your host, joined by my co-hosts in the Chavo, Mr. Hattie himself, Jack Finn. Well, guys, we have played just above 500 hockey this week. We will get into that. But also, we are officially past the NHL trade deadline, which is going to be our big topic for the night. And the Bruins had only added and swapped AHL talent. Boo. I have several thoughts on it. Several thoughts on it. But I have way too many. What would you guys grade Sweeney's deadline? And like I said, I have my own thoughts, but I want you guys to go first. I want to hear because our group chat was relatively quiet this past couple days.
C-.
Okay.
More like a D+.
Jack, I'm right there with you, bud. D+, C-, depending on my mood. Right now, after watching the Pittsburgh game, it's definitely a D+. When the day closed on Friday, it was a C- for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get rid of the structure in the team that you had, and it seems like the team was happy about that. They've grown very close this season. The bond is very apparent, so I think from that standpoint, that's good, and you still have your team intact, but it's not like you're competing for a division and you're in a solid playoff spot. You are still desperately trying to get a wild card and maybe hop into the top 3 because of how close the Atlantic is. But that's not indicative of how good of a team you are, just because of how close the Atlantic is. And you basically, helped Providence get better. I think, I'm interested if you guys agree with that. But yeah, you didn't boost the right-hand side, didn't lose anything, but you didn't gain anything either. And again, I know Cam and you guys have a lot of thoughts, so I'm kind of just listing off from what we have for today's episode. But yeah, and especially after today's game, I want to throw up in my mouth.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna get right into it too, because I mean it's a big topic and it's a massive discussion, especially with the way the Bruins have played this week. You guys say C-, D+. I'm figuring you guys can kind of go either way with that. I'm gonna give him a C, and I'll explain why, but I just want to recap what we got at the trade deadline. I want to put some emphasis on it, and I want to say that, we made an AHL swap. Basically, the Bruins required Alexei Gendron. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And Massimo Rizzo. So we got some maximum Riz in exchange for forward Brett Harrison and defenseman Jackson Edward. I was kind of surprised to see Jackson Edward depart Providence, but Sweeney knows a little bit more than I do in that regard. And it did seem in that trade that they were just looking to gear up for something for Providence, who is an absolute wagon right now. Outside of that, the only other deal that Boston made was the acquisition of Lukas Reichel for a 6th-round pick. He's 23 years old, and he's an RFA at the end of the season. He makes $1.2 million, and so we actually are burying some of that contract down in Providence right now. The reason why I'm going to give him a C instead of a C-, D+ is because I do acknowledge the fact that, yes, you didn't get rid of anything. So you kept your 4 first-round picks between this year and next year. You didn't really give up any of your seconds or any additional thirds. But you also didn't do anything to help the big club either. You got another reclamation project in the form of Lukas Reichel. But I'm not going to say he did bad or he did good. But I would have preferred him to take advantage of a couple other things, and we can get deeper into that too as we progress through the conversation of the trade deadline. I just thought doing nothing is worse than is going hard sell. I think doing nothing basically means you don't know the direction you want to take. In his press conference before the trade deadline, Sweeney did mention that he did believe that the team deserved a bump and that he was going to explore several options to see if he could get them there and get them those players. And then during the post-trade deadline conference, he said it just didn't materialize, and I felt that. I think there might have just been some hesitancy to acquire the players, which I think is fine. I think you can be, as a Bruins fan, happy that he didn't grotesquely overpay for anything, but I think you should definitely still be upset that the major gap all year was not addressed, irrespective of the Bruins exceeding expectations. Sorry, that was kind of long.
No, it was well said. You know, I think as fans, they can be happy with, you know, where we are. I mean, they're not, but with generally the roster didn't get too mixed around too much, and you didn't offsell too many important pieces or players. But you said as well there. I think like the lack of getting a bump and making any sort of real addition to the big club is the fact, yeah, you're not sure the direction, and who wouldn't be with the inconsistency we've seen in, you know, the games and just how they've gone, especially on the road. So yeah, I mean, my hopes for them to make the playoffs are even more, you know, gone after a game like today and after seeing this deadline. But you know, you've got under 20 games left to go.
19.
You got to make the most of it. So we'll see how they respond.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week where if Sweeney did nothing, it would be a failure to me. And the only reason why I'm giving it a D plus C minus is because Nicholas Roy went for a first round. You're like,
I think it's Wah, but who cares?
Raw, whatever.
Who gives a shit? Honestly,
Yeah, who cares?
Like,
I just wanted to correct you just to correct you.
It's okay. Nicholas Wah, in his 5 goals, went for a first round pick. Yeah, like that. Like this market was so stupid, and I don't necessarily blame Don Sweeney for not, you know, for the market being what it is. But also, I can still be a Bruins fan and still be disappointed that they didn't address the one thing that they needed to address. Right? Like
if you get some help on the D, maybe you win today.
Yeah.
Maybe you win maybe you get some better efforts out of this week. Maybe you can actually help sharpen your system in a way that you could compete with the top teams that are going into the playoffs, which if you sneak in, you're going to get run the fuck over in that instance.
And if you sneak in, I don't think they'll get swept because on home ice,
they're dominant.
We're pretty decent. So you're probably looking at a 7-game series because we'll win at home, but we won't
lose on the road.
We won't win a single road game, and that's fine.
And if you go in as a wild card, you're not going to have home ice. So it's kind of like when you played Carolina and the first round in 2022. That game was the home team won and the away team lost every single game up until Game 7 in Carolina. Bruins lost.
Yep.
And I think that's just separate for that series, but still, you're going to run into those same troubles this time around because you can't win on the road.
Just a quick note on the home records is that Boston, Carolina, and I believe Colorado have the 3 best home records, followed by the Anaheim Ducks.
The Ducks.
The Ducks are making push, which is crazy.
Yeah, they are.
But
out of the West, I hope to kind of see them as a sleeper. You know, I don't know how well they might do, but because the West is,
I mean,
atrocious.
they're about to win. They're about to be number 1 in their division. So
they are number 1 in their division.
Are they? Okay.
I think
so. Yeah, they're not really sleeping anymore.
No, not anymore. But and considering where they've been,
but to me, it's just like it's the stuff that he didn't do, right? So
yeah,
like when a guy like Nicholas Waugh goes for a first round, you're telling me you couldn't get something for Lohrei, you couldn't get something for Matty Poitras, you couldn't get something for Lysell
or Peak. We were talking about he was the name mentioned in the group chat I saw today,
right? Like Peak or Arvidsson, like. And to be fair, I put this in the group chat with you boys earlier, but I am praying to God that Peak walks away at the end of the season as a ultimate fuck you to Don Sweeney. Because it's like, oh, we're working on something. But it's like, cool, you should have traded the asset that you knew was 50-50 anyways. You should have got something for nothing. So it's just ridiculous.
Quick note on Arvidsson: he wasn't going to go anywhere. They weren't going to trade him. That was known. It was during, I believe, Friday that they said, and I think Steve, you were there for the live show that we did too, for the overall arching company here at Don't Fuck with Media, that we all saw that there were going to be contract extension talks with Victor Arvidsson. The team just likes him. They enjoy him. I agree with you with Peak. If Peak walks and you can try to get something for him, then yes, then you can revisit this trade deadline, and then you can say you did not do the best that you could have done for this team. Admittedly, and the players spoke about it, Sturm spoke about it, and they all said, they're glad that they didn't move too many people out like last year. They say that everyone loves each other. They love coming to the rink. There's nothing wrong in the locker room. That's all what they've said. And so there was a difficult decision to make. You know what I mean? How do you tell? So what do you tell your players? They played with a lot of
road, so we're shaking things up.
Sure,
because that's my job as a general manager. It's not about everyone loves each other, la-di-da, win fucking hockey games and compete for a cup. And maybe you can sit there and say we love each other and we're happy that we didn't do these things. You can't win on the road, and it's the job of Don Sweeney to go ahead and shake things up and bring assets in and send assets out to make sure the job of making the playoffs dominantly is there and it's attained. I don't care about how these players feel. I don't. They're making millions of dollars a year. Their job is to make the playoffs and win a Stanley Cup.
And clearly, they think that this. I think this group can do that. They feel as though they can compete, and they can, but there are still things that need to be fixed. And
the proof is in the pudding, though. They think that they can compete, but they can't win on the road.
Exactly.
So what if I'm sitting back as an unbiased general manager, what does that tell me? It tells me
you would need to improve the team.
Exactly.
So no doubt. And listen, I agree there. I think Don Sweeney, the one thing he should have done was added their RD2 position.
Yep.
There were a ton of them apparently available, but the asking prices were high. I get it. And I think Justin Falk went for a first and a third, no salary retained I'm sorry. I think it was 20%. I can't remember.
For Justin Falk.
But
that's the market.
If they were willing, I would have been willing to move Florida's 2027 first, Lowry into fourth for them to retain 50%. Because Lowry, I don't think is going to be part of the team. And listen, now this is all going to be speculation. The lack of moves that I think Don Sweeney did tells me that there is potentially going to be something in the offseason is where he's going to focus. Yoki Haru is not doing well at the right RD2 spot. Peak is at best his RD3. Lowry is your RD2 right now, according to the depth chart, which is not ideal. So it's just something needs to be done. So you need to go out and do it. And if you weren't going to do it at this trade deadline, then it just speaks offseason moves to me. But I honestly think if the seller's market was there, you could have at least moved Lowry or Jordan Harris or something for one of these players that you're not playing, because we do have a bit of a surplus down at the left D side right now with Aspero, Zadorov, Hampus Lindholm, Lowry, and Harris taking up all of that.
And
I think
they basically want to take a safe route. They want us to play the rest of the year, see if we make it cool, and the moves will be done in the offseason. And to that, it doesn't give the Bruins the respect that they need really to be able to compete. And if you're focusing on making those in the offseason, then right now you're hurting the team because you're not giving them a chance to be better at competing. So
what bugs me most is when people will tell you and say this was a brilliant move by Sweeney. I don't think it was a brilliant move. I don't think it was a dumb move. And I don't think it was a good move. I think it was a move that obviously every fan should have mixed feelings on. Yes. Has the team exceeded your expectations? 100%. No one expected them to be in the playoff spot right now that they're in. No one expected that.
I mean, they're barely in the playoffs, though. Let's be honest.
But at least competing for one.
And there's 1 point, but they're there's 1 point of separation between playoffs and no playoffs. Like they have been consistently in the playoffs this year. Yes, but at the end of we still got a month and a half left in this season, and it's still anybody's game. That wild card 2 position, they might be, if they can't win a road game, since we have 12 left, and that's the majority of our games, we might not be in the playoffs.
That's the scary part. They have so many road games come out to finish this season, Steve. Like,
I know.
Do you
like, what do you do?
Can you win?
And it's between 1 and 3 points that are separating you. So it's like, are they in the playoffs? Like, yeah, technically right now, but if Columbus wins tomorrow, they're out of the playoffs.
No, they're not. They're still in. They're 3 points ahead of Columbus.
Yeah, but Columbus has a game in hand.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, a game and a half. Okay. A game and a tie. A win and a tie. Like, but still, it's not out of the realm of possibilities with especially how many road games we have coming up to just be a 1 point game.
If they can at least be 500 on the road for the rest of the season, and again, win at home, how they have. I don't know if they're going to keep being this dominant, but at least if they can win more games at home than they lose, then
listen. You're right. There's a ton of road games, and the Boston Bruins road record this season is 11-14-5, including the 5-4 OT loss to Pittsburgh today. Now, I will say this. The Boston Bruins are likely going to be playing some extremely meaningful hockey later this month and early in April, because guess what? We play Columbus 2 more times. Both those times are going to be in Columbus.
Oh,
I would argue that they are already playing meaningful hockey games right now.
When I say that, Steve, I mean like really meaningful. Like, yes, a lot of games matter right now.
The stakes are going to keep going up.
It's going to get higher. The stakes are only going to get higher right now.
They're going to get
the stakes are only going to get higher. But like, this is like playoff hockey right now.
Yeah, and you have to start now. It's not like, I think I can make a change later on because that's when I'm going to be able to do it. No, the work goes in now. So it's like, if you can't start doing it now, then soon enough the games are going to run out.
Yep,
and then you're done. So
this is wake up time for them and figure it out.
I also want to bring up that Don Sweeney mentioned that he was also looking to bolster the forward core. And he
added Lucas Reichel. Is he a defenseman or forward?
Listen, we're going to get into Lucas Reichel. We'll get into Lucas Reichel. I want to bring up another point. Connor Garland is a player that the Boston Bruins have been looking at for the past 2 seasons, including this season. He went for a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick, and you are going to tell me that you could not match that offer.
You could. You should have. I don't get it.
Here.
Now,
take Matty Patra in a 3rd round. Have fun.
And add Lori in there. Why not? Because
that's an overpay.
You're overpaying. But there was
I was like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, but there was definitely a scenario where you could have made the money work with Connor Garland and made that acquisition. Instead, you know who acquired him? Your biggest competition right now, hunting for that playoff spot in Columbus. So I just think that if you look at the overall deals that were going on during trade deadline, and you can honestly tell me that Don Sweeney did the best that he could possibly do, and you're going to praise him and sing his, and worship him for that deadline and say that it was genius for him to not do anything. That's just simply not true. I'm not going to glaze all over Don Sweeney, especially with his history in trade deadlines. I expected a little bit more.
Yeah. His time to shine is usually the trade deadline. Like, that's the only time he actually shines, because he can't draft talent. He can't do any of that stuff in the offseason. His one thing that he's good at is trade deadlines.
Yeah.
And you do nothing.
Actually, maybe not signings, because we do have Mr. Zadorov and Elias Lindholm to no trade clauses. Big contracts.
Tanner Jeannot, no movement clause, no trade clause. Like it's an issue. It's an issue. It's a big issue.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it's just like he does one thing right, and it's trade deadlines, and he fumbled the bag this year. And this is not how someone who is fighting for a job because he only has a 2-year contract extension keeps his job. He didn't make any moves, and you know what really bothers me about this is the guys like Lysell and Patra, right? Like, they're restricted free agents at the end of this year. What are you going to do with them? Just bury them in Providence? Like, what are you going to do? They're assets that you can get something for. I really genuinely believe that you could have added a Lori and a Patra in a deal to get a right D, or a forward that is a top 6 forward.
Because now you have someone like Patra in the same spot. Is he going to be competing for the team again? Is he going to get
exactly
played out? Probably. If generally this roster is coming back and is at training camp,
what do you do? Exactly. We are realistically looking at the same roster for next year, which is mediocre. Let's just be honest. Yeah, you're great at home, but you can't win a game in a different barn. But Lysell, Patra, and Lori were all things that you could have moved for assets, especially it being a seller's market, and you didn't capitalize on it. And it's just kind of,
yeah. I don't know about the roster being the same next year, but I do anticipate some moves in the offseason, with Higgins coming and some available UFAs I'm sure the Bruins will look at. But some of our notable UFAs are, Peak, Arvidsson, as they sit. It is rumored that Don Sweeney is in talks with Peak and Arvidsson for contract extensions, which means that they're not going to address the RD2 position in the summer if they're going to sign Peak because they still have Yoki Hart. I just don't understand it, but that's where I'm going to guess. Merkulov, who is a Group 6 UFA, because he played less than 80 games in the NHL, but he did play in 3 professional seasons. So that does qualify him for free agency. Our notable pending RFAs are Jordan Harris, Lucas Reichel, Fabian Lysell, Matty Patra. We talked about, Lucas Reichel. I do want to say this. This is another one of those reclamation projects that's not like Victor Arvidsson. Victor Arvidsson was an NHL player. He played in the NHL significantly.
Yeah.
What this reminds me of is Oliver Wahlstrom. Reclaiming a former first round top 20 pick and trying to see what you can do with it. They're going to sign him. Say that again.
He has ties to Sturm.
Yep. But that doesn't mean he's going to be an NHL player. And all 3 of these players, you know what happened to them? They reported to Providence. You signed Alex Steves.
I've seen Alex play live. He sucks. He's a certified AHLer. I'm sorry. No, Reichel.
Yeah.
Like he's a certified AHLer. Like I don't understand. I don't understand the moves, like Goose. Like
because we got another German for Sturm to work with.
You're not wrong, but the fact is, why would you bolster your Providence Bruins, your backup team, when we have so much stuff going on there, and you need one thing? You just need one thing to make yourself a little bit more competitive on the big club. Why did you focus so much on the AHL with Reichel? He sucks. And I'm sorry. I've seen him live. I've seen him play in Chicago. There's a reason why Chicago dumped him, and there's a reason why Vancouver dumped him.
He was waived 4 times. I believe he was waived twice by Chicago and twice by Vancouver.
Yeah. If you're getting waived twice by Vancouver in the position that they are in right now, what does that tell you?
You suck.
No, I agree. I think he's he's basically another equivalent to Fabian Lysell, except Chicago gave Lucas Reichel the time of day.
Yep.
That's where I think that is. So you're just basically adding another Lysell. So what does that tell me? Is Lysell going to be on the move? Because he's probably going to be cheaper to keep. He's an RFA and he's 1 year younger. Or what are you going to do with Reichel? What are you going to re-sign him for? $900,000? I just don't know. That's a move that people didn't. I just don't get, and people are just like, "Oh, that's an interesting move." I'm like, it's a nothing move. It's a nothing burger. It's one of the biggest nothing burgers that you could have seen.
It's an interesting move because it doesn't make any sense. It's so interesting, and it's like, why would you do that? It's interesting because you have the question of why would you waste your time? Why would you waste a 6th-round pick? Why would you do that?
Yeah. You have Matej Blumel, by the way, that you could have also moved. You had players. The Boston Bruins 1,000% had the means to improve their roster. That's why I'm giving it the only reason why I'm giving him a C is because he didn't lose anything of substance, meaning that he didn't lose 2 first-round picks.
He doesn't want to risk making improvement to this team or making moves only for them to fall short again and to suffer the court of public opinion. And yeah, I get that, but also given where this team was last year and where they are this year, and again, it's been frustrating throughout the year, but they're a good story. But I guess Sweeney just didn't want to go for it, and I mean, go for it. Not as you're a hard buyer and you're trying to acquire the means of all-stars, but they didn't see it fit to make any additions, even though they could have, like you guys are saying.
Can I go on the record here for one quick thing?
You're on the record, Steve.
Thank you.
My microphone.
I just want to put this out there and say that Don Sweeney is not responsible for James Higgins.
Just like keep them away. Anytime like they're in the same vicinity, be like, no, you see that guy? You gotta walk the other way.
I do not want to give Don Sweeney credit for drafting Higgins because it's the only guy that is potentially going to work out, and we don't know for sure. But like he fell to his lap, and if he didn't get him, he would have got fired the next day, right?
Yeah.
Like it was one of those things where he had to take him or get fired because everyone knew the potential that he has. And I don't want to give Don Sweeney credit for something that fell on his lap because it might be the best thing to work out for the Boston Bruins. It might be. We don't know. There's still a big gap to jump, but he looks promising, and I'm hoping that he's a player that we all think he's going to be. But I don't want him to get any credit for it because if he's sitting there in his mind saying, "Okay, cool," like Goose, you just said it, we didn't lose anything, right? We still got our first round picks. We got our second round picks. We got all this stuff. Don Sweeney doesn't know how to draft. Don Sweeney does not know how to draft.
I mean, I wouldn't. We keep holding 2015 over his head, but he did get you Charlie McAvoy. He did get you Dean Letrano. He did get you James Higgins. And yes, I agree with you that was a layup. I saw Porter Martone's name get called by Philadelphia, and I was jumping up and down, and I was like, James Higgins is going to be a Boston Bruin. Mm-hmm. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs saying, there is no way Sweeney can fumble this. I know initially we were looking at Brady Martin. Thank God we didn't take him. It's just because I like James Higgins' ceiling a lot better than I do Brady Martin's. But I don't know. It was just a lot. He did get you some first-round picks that are NHL players. I mean, Trent Frederick he's just not a fit in Edmonton, in my opinion, but he is an NHLer. Maybe not a top 6 forward that you would have liked to see, but hey, not everyone can be David Pasternak, selected at 25th overall.
We got to talk about him before the end of the episode. What's going on with him? I think it's probably injury and mix of confidence too.
I don't know if it's injury. I think it's a confidence thing, and he kind of spoke to that. But as far as we know, he's feeling well, unless stated otherwise by the team. But I don't think they'll disclose that information. I think it's just
exactly.
He's been
probably bummed out that he's wasting another season on a team that's barely fucking competing, and he's never going to win a Stanley Cup in Boston.
But just before we get too far off field with it, I just want to complete the thought. In most of Sweeney's tenure, he traded away a lot of the first round picks that he had during the trade deadline to make and bolster the team. And the team has been to one cup final under his tenure.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't blame Sweeney for holding on to these picks, especially with the state of the current team and with it being a seller's market. But I think again, I just goes back to it. I look at what Connor Garland went for, and you could have at least done one thing. And I think standing pat for this team with what they showed you, with the heart that they gave and the position that they put themselves in, I think you owed that team a little bit more respect, and you should have gotten them a little extra bump because they definitely could have used it against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Just to remind everyone too, before we continue the conversation, the Bruins this past week beat the Penguins earlier on Tuesday 2-1 at TD Garden. Then we go on the road to lose to the Nashville Predators 6-3 in Nashville, come back home in a matinee game, beat the Washington Capitals 3-1, and then you lose 5-4 in OT off of an god-awful McAvoy turnover. Like I said, 5-4 in OT against Pittsburgh, where I genuinely think the defense was the determining factor. And that Pittsburgh Penguins team, like you guys said, was without Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and one of their other leading goal scorers, a former Bruin, Justin Brazeau.
And one thing that you missed is the fact that game went into overtime, but at the end of the second period, the score was 3-1 Boston.
3-0 before.
That's why that loss is so egregious, because you were up by 2 goals going into the third, and then it was 4-4 and then you gave it up in OT. Yeah, you got a point out of it, but you should have closed it out in regulation with the win. It's
And
just
guess where it
another
was?
disappointing away game.
Yep, and guess where it was? Like you said, away. Once again.
Yeah, fellas, it's like I said, it's just mixed feelings with the trade deadline, especially when you look at the 2 games after the trade deadline. You have a good game against Washington, who were more, I would say they were more stunned with the loss of John Carlson, which was probably like the most stunning trade for me. You know, that Friday, because I never thought John Carlson would be in any other uniform except the Capitals uniform. So they probably had a lot of emotions, but maybe you don't win that game if John Carlson's there. And I can tell you right now, if Crosby and Malkin and Brazeau were in that lineup tonight against Pittsburgh, you weren't winning that game. You weren't even
You're losing
going
10
into
out of 10
overtime
times. Yeah. Yep.
because of the way you played.
Like crap. If you couldn't guess, they played like crap.
So, I mean, all of those things being said, you know, I mean, and fans too, like you can let us know if you think we're crazy and that we're being a little too hard on Don Sweeney or the Sweeneyest or whatever you want to call him, you know, with the trade deadline. If you think it's brilliant, I mean, we'd love to hear your comments on it. But I mean, the reality for me is just that I think you could have done something a little bit more than just adding 3 AHL level talents. Actually, technically, even 2 of them you swapped 2 of them. So really, you only added Lucas Reichel in, you know, $50,000 you're paying for on your salary because you had to bury some of that contract. So I just don't know why that to people who said that deal makes sense. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It's another Oliver Wahlstrom reclamation project. It's going to go absolutely nowhere. I don't see Lucas Reichel being a difference maker for this Boston Bruins team.
You know what makes this season even worse, guys? It's all the dumbass Bruins fans who think like the Reichel signing is great. Like, I'm sorry to say, like, if you sit there and say that this is a great move or whatever it is, you're a dumbass. And like, I'm sorry to just call it out the way it is. It's just like
Steve apologizes. He's just opinionated.
No, I mean, I am opinionated, but it's stupid. It's plain dumb, right? Like, you did nothing. You got a guy who's been dropped how many times? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And all these guys who always defend Sweeney, it's just like, stop glazing him. He hasn't done anything. Like, he hasn't done anything of note. And I'm sick and tired of all these people defending him, like thinking he's just a mad genius. He has had great trade deadlines in the past. It's the only thing he actually manages to do correctly. But this one, he didn't do anything. And for all the people that are listening that think he is a genius, please tell me why. What makes this such a genius move? What in your crystal ball? What do you see coming in this summer with the moves that we can make? Please let me know, because I don't think there's many moves aside from James Hagen's coming up, and we shift around our top 6 forwards and our top 9, and then still have a gaping hole in defense. Please.
It's got to be an off-season trade. That's the only thing I can say. Like, so we'll pin this, right? So pin this. Like, we'll say this. Like, you know, if Don Sweeney takes these assets that he acquired and he just goes and he dangles them in the off-season and then ends up getting you a real solid RD2, then I'm willing to forgive it, right? Because then I'll forgive it because I'm like, all right, fine. The prices were high then, they dropped, and you had more leverage and you had more time to get it done in the summer. Fine, I'll give you credit there. But I'm not going to just say, and I agree with you, Steve, I'm not going to just say, and I've said it before, that Don Sweeney is correct all the time. I think, you know, the court of public opinion should always have their opinions, and they should be able to question, like, you know, was this the right move? And that's exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'm just using my head here and thinking like, well, if these players went for X, Y, and Z, you could have at least matched that, if not better, and also gotten a little bit in return, albeit not much. But like, you know, you just see some of these things and it does make you wonder, like, you know, again, I'm not a big fan of standing pat on anything, especially you got to take advantage and leverage of something. And if that direction that you go into the trade deadline that you want to take all of a sudden shifts, then you leverage that opportunity to the best of your ability. And like you said, you can't be afraid of hurting your players' feelings. You do have to sell to them that, hey, we had to make the best decision for this organization. Unfortunately, it involves trading someone, but hopefully we can make this team better next year or in the future. That's how you present that to them. And I just think Don Sweeney just didn't do that. He didn't give, I think, the players hope, but he also didn't take anything away from the locker room. So that's why I'm just so torn between it. And I think anyone has a right to be so.
At least he didn't deal away Geeky.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, so teams called on him.
Yeah, of course. Of course they did.
He's having a phenomenal season, and he's coming into the prime of his career, and he's into the player which he was scouted and hoped to be, and probably even a little bit better. So,
best contract in the NHL.
Yeah, no wonder there. But I'm very glad that Sweeney probably went.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind people calling for him. That's going to happen, right? Like people call on very talented players all the time. Hey, what's it going to take to move him? All right, here's the price. Like, here it is.
You'd have to give me back a player close to his statue, and
yeah,
like a first and a third, maybe.
It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, I'll take the call. What are you offering? Okay,
GM Jack.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just I don't get it, dude. Like, you can take those calls, but like, don't do it. Don't. It's like pasta. Don't trade him. You can take a call on him, but don't do it. You know.
What'd you say about DMing me, Cam?
I said GM Jack there,
dude. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm learning this stuff more as I go, so I don't.
I wouldn't say that. No, listen. What fans value players are. It's just different. Like, you know what I mean? The way I value a David Pastrnak might be different than another team values him. And it might be, but that's a superstar, right? But anyone who's not a superstar, like a guy like Morgan Geeky or a guy like Connor Garland or some of like, the bottom 9 guys, your fan valuations, like it's hard to argue unless your price is just egregiously off. Like, what they'll go for. Only the GMs know because the GMs set their price and what they're willing to move for them. So that's just it. So if I said like Morgan Geeky can easily get you a first and a third, and someone says no shot in hell, and I'm just like, well, he makes X amount of money and he has X amount of points. So he comes with terms. So why would that not be a fair value? Like, you know what I mean? Someone else might refute that.
2 firsts and a second. Oh, you don't like it? Sorry. Bye.
Yeah, that's where the court of public opinion, I think, is fine. That's what makes the trade deadline fun for me, because I like to see like what people think their valuations of players are, because some of them are just downright disgustingly like overpriced. Some of them I think are close, and then others are just undercutting. Like, sometimes that happens, and that's okay.
Or they're thinking we can make the math work when we want to move certain players to get Robert Thomas and whoever else it was. I know we saw that ridiculous trade.
And Justin Falk. They want to both.
Yeah.
Or Colton Parayko.
Yeah. Good luck making that money work. But
yeah, good luck.
But in terms of the standings, fellas, we have a 3-point lead on Columbus. They have a game in hand. We're 1 point behind Detroit for the first wild card spot, and we're 2 points behind Montreal for third in the Atlantic Division. It's not like the Bruins don't have the capacity to be able to fight to get higher. There's
a good chance we can make it. Like it's still like 50-50 and a little bit leaning past 50-50, I think, And again, then the road woes are horrible, but they're in a decent position for where they are. And again, with how close these standings are, they could easily make it. They could easily not make it. So
it comes down to the points in the East. The points in the East are super, super tight. And like I said, guys, like I think not doing anything at this trade deadline is going to definitely impact the Bruins playoff chances. You go down the line, because your defense is not good. That hole at RD2 is really massive, and it shows night in and night out. I mean, we can beat this down till we're blue in the face, but that's just the harsh reality of it. And there's two sides of the coin that you could be on, and you can be on the side of like, good, don't make the playoffs, get a high pick, or a top, between 10 to 16 pick. And then, you're there, you can easily rebuild the farm and, get yourself there. And then you have the Toronto pick and, rebuild the farm system. And then that way your longevity is good. And then you have the other side of the coin that just says, I would be okay with giving up a first round pick if it meant helping Pasta get that much closer to a cup. It's okay to be on either side of those coins.
Mm-hmm.
I will not fault a fan if someone said like, oh, I'm more on the conservative side or I'm more on the buy side. I'm not going to fault you for that. Both of those things are sound and logical. And these are just my opinions on it. Like, Steve, I'm sure would rather be like, I would have rather them buy. Jack was probably, I would have rather them buy an RD2. Like, I could be like, I would have just sold the farm. That's fine. I will just politely disagree with them, but that doesn't mean you guys are wrong or I'm right. But this deadline, I just felt like doing nothing was the worst.
Okay. Yeah. Like literally doing absolutely nothing is the worst thing. You didn't acquire any assets,
What do you mean? You got Lucas Reichel.
And I don't even mean like assets and like big boy club players, right? Like, hey, what could you have got for a guy that you're gonna leave and let rot down in Providence, like a Matty P?
Or you're gonna try and move in the offseason, whatever else. What about for Lowry? What about for Patra?
There was options where you could have, especially if the seller's market was true, you could have gotten a little bit of something to help you out. And even if you wanted to flip those assets, a second or third or whatever in the off season to make your big boy club that much more ready for the next season in the 26-27 campaign, then sure, right? Like now I think you're just gonna let a Lysell rotten Providence, a Matty P rotten Providence, a Blumel rotten Providence. Like it's just I don't understand. Like you could have did something. It's just
show anyone the goal from the Stadium Series of Matt Patra and see if they say he's not an NHLer.
Right.
That dude should not be rotting in Providence. And it just goes to show.
Yep.
Quick question for you guys before we move on to the playoff hopes and your thoughts on that. Do you think Don Sweeney's hesitance to make any kind of moves was out of fear of his own job?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He is on a very tight leash.
It's been building, unfortunately. It's accumulated over time, and there are many different reasons and shortcomings that we could all probably spend, an hour talking on, like from, pre-2019 leading up to that cup final and then that loss and then what happened after there, getting up back again in 2023, how that happened, and then what has followed since. There's been a lot of different things in between that has led to this point. And so with his contract expiring, not this year, right? Or next year? Or this year? Next year. Okay, well still, that's
I was wrong on that. It's good through the 27-28 season, I believe.
All right. Well, again, still, that's not.
There's a 3-year extension.
I think they signed him. I can't remember exactly, but I looked it up because I made a post about it, and someone had actually kindly corrected me because I had thought the same thing that you did. So no, it is through the 27-28 season, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so he's got a little more than we thought, but he's still.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not as fearful for his job, but more on that he doesn't want a repeat of mistakes, setting them up to only fall back down. And so
I also think that his job is also tied with Cam Neely's job.
I don't know what we really want to get into it. Oof.
I mean, to be completely honest with you, I really do think that he didn't make any moves because he's in fear for his job, but also the added pressure of Neely's job is also on the line because of him. And I think that also comes, trickling down a little bit. And that's okay. But I think the tandem of Neely and Sweeney going back to, their playing days being good old buddies is not the best way to approach the way the Bruins. It's not a fraternity. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
coming from the two fraternity boys in here. But you're right.
Yeah, their job is to win, but it's like, cool. Now my best friend from my playing days is the president, and now I'm his GM. It's like, oh, like great. You're just nepotism. because y'all are friends. Like, are you actually the right person for the job? Like, if we hired somebody else, could you actually have won us a Stanley Cup?
People have been
And-
calling for
Yeah.
Neely to go for a while now. I think like they're not happy with him. And
Well, I think the tandem of them. I think
Yeah.
they play off of it, and again, I'm telling you, like, in my opinion, it's just like the best friends from the playing days, like, oh, like that doesn't play well with each other, right? And
No,
it's just
no.
you know, if you're doing great, yeah, sure, it's like, okay, all is forgiven, but you're doing bad, and you constantly keep, you know, messing up. And that's when it comes to light, right? And it's less forgivable. I do think that he was scared because I think that he doesn't know what the right move is, like, for the direction of the team. Like, again,
He's fearful to make the wrong one, and then all of a sudden it goes
Yeah.
worse later on. Like,
because
but also
because
it could go
according to
right.
Neely- according to Neely, we're contending for a Stanley Cup this year.
Well, I mean, every team ever is contending for a Stanley Cup every year, right? Every year is a
Yes,
fresh
yes,
slate.
that's their
Like, you know what
job.
I mean?
That's their job.
But
I understand.
I
But
will say this.
realistically-
I will say this, Steve, that I do agree. I think Cam Neely's job might be tied to Don Sweeney's. I think there's a mix of both here. I think Sweeney knows that he is on a tight rope that he's carefully balancing right now. I think he definitely cares about the Bruins organization and that he wants the team to succeed, and he cares a lot about, like, you know, the players' thoughts and opinions on, like, you know, competing, and, you know, he has conversations with them and about, like, you know, hey, would you guys be all right if we took the different direction? I think, you know, he's very conscious of that, but I think with his previous deadlines, this is just out of trend for him, especially for a team that, even though barely in a playoff spot, like I said, I do think that he is aware of the seat and the position that he is in, and that if he does not tread lightly, he's going to be in the market for another job. So I agree with you guys there.
So speaking of which, what do we think for playoff hopes?
Crickets.
Exactly. No, it's you know,
Good question, Jack. Thanks for taking it. I feel like I'm like Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights, or no, it wasn't Ricky Bobby. It was another. It was like the campaign, I think, where it was Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis doing like a debate, and Will Ferrell just didn't answer the question that was asked.
Welcome to the fucking show.
I just knew we were transitioning to it next, so I'm like, what is it going to look like?
I think it's exactly that. I think it's hopeful. I don't have them as a lock. I think it's going to come down to the wire, and genuinely, I think it might come down to those last two games against Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, it usually does when you're fighting for only a wild card 2 spot. You gotta play up to
Actually, in theory,
game
they're
80.
fighting for even the Atlantic Division 3. They're only
Yeah, but when
points
you're
behind it.
But when you're that type of a race, yeah, you're playing for you know, playing your hearts out for every inch of the ice up till game 82, because one wrong move, one loss, you know, and then you miss it. So yeah, I'd say hopeful too. Again, we're all Bruins fans here. I would love for them to make the playoffs. I will be there at their first home game for the playoffs, probably. I would love to, but, like, you know, is it gonna be that successful? I don't think so. I don't know. And I mean, even if they're a first round out, I mean, I guess that's not that bad of a outcome for this season, but it's still disappointing because you could have made additions, and I don't know how much they would have maybe helped in the playoff run. Maybe it would help set you up a little bit, and even better for next season. So hopeful as we can be.
I think they're playoff hopefuls, right? Like, it's going to come down to the wire, which is fine, which might make our job a little bit more exciting to talk about, right? Where it's back and forth, it might get a little bit more exciting.
Like,
but,
oh my God, I can't take this.
Yeah, to the we're back. But I'm on the stance where they're hopeful, but I hope they don't make the playoffs. Like, I really don't. I hope that they don't make the playoffs because they didn't fill a gap at right D.
And then Peak walks and goes, fuck you.
It's not even just fuck you. I think Peak walking and Arvidsson walking is just another fuck you to Don Sweeney.
They're not going to walk.
I don't know. Maybe
Arvidsson's not going to walk. That one
Arvidsson's not going to.
Arvidsson won't walk, but Peak, I'm sure he'll field it unless Sweeney offers him a good deal.
Oh, you mean overpay him? Yeah.
$4 million is what.
It's like, oh yeah,
anticipating.
overpay for
Yeah.
a defenseman.
Yeah,
Sure.
All I'm saying is, if you
Overpay
pay
for
Peak $4 million, you have to get rid of Henry Jokiharju. You're not going to pay a guy $3 million just sit in the press box.
Or pay someone $3 million to be right back up. I saw. We didn't really touch upon it. I mean, I don't know if it really came down to him, but did Korpisalo play today, or no? Was it Swayman?
He did.
Okay, yeah.
I will say this final thing.
but still, like he didn't play great.
I'll say this final thing. I'm not putting the loss on Korpisalo. Not when your defense lets up breakaways. Not when when your superstar defenseman turns it over in the defensive zone in overtime, and then they go in and score. And then instead of Pasternak getting back to play defense, he looks at the ref and bitches. You don't put that on Korpisalo. He didn't have a good game, but the defense had a worse.
No, definitely not putting it on him. But no, he didn't have the best game. And
I'm so glad you brought that up too.
But Steve, why don't you finish in your playoff hopeful thought? And you mentioned that they hope they don't make it.
I really hope they don't make it, because quite frankly, I'm sick of watching them lose in horrific ways, like on the road. Like I'm really just sick of watching it, and like I don't really want to deal with it anymore. And I just need, I guess, a little bit of distance from this team and this toxicity, because it's bad for my health. Because I really get
he's like, I'm getting gray hairs.
Yeah, gray hair, the blood pressure. It's not great. And to be honest with you, if they don't make the playoffs again, that's just another domino. It's only a game. To be mad. I know, but still, it's another domino that falls to Sweeney and getting him the fuck out of Boston. So it is what it is. And I'm so glad that you brought up, the McAvoy just kind of giving the puck over and then looking at the ref of like, yo, where's
Pasternak?
He's been
Pasternak looked at the ref, yeah.
Pasternak did that, but they've both been doing that all season. Both McAvoy and Pasta have been doing that all season. Like, where's the call? Where's the call? Like, and those two are fighting for the captaincy. That's why I say, who's the captain of the Boston Bruins? Well,
say
we need a leader.
Pasternak was definitely interfered with, and that was a missed call. But still,
the bitching is still happening.
Play to the whistle. You gotta put it behind you. If you're not getting the call, I understand as an NHL professional, it's frustrating. You just got to put it past you. I mean, and that's all I can really say on it. I don't really want to dive too deeper into it, because that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and you just need that good mental toughness. We were gonna save this for next week, but we're gonna have some bonus content. Why don't we discuss the 7th player award? Every year, that's Nesson's award. And it's basically given to a player that has gone far and away and beyond on and off the ice. And so this year's 3 finalists are Fraser Minten, Mark Kostelik, and Marat Husnudinov. Who do you guys think?
Minten by a landslide.
Marat by a landslide.
Oh, should I say Kostelik by a landslide just to fuck with it and just have 3 different opinions, or should I'm like on the coin here, guys. All right, hold on. I want to hear both your opinions on why you think your player deserves it more than the other, because I am actually on the fence between Fraserman and Marat Husnudinov. I have thoughts on both, but I want you to convince me of one, and then I will give my opinion on that I had planned for that player.
Jack, go first.
Oh, it's hard not to say Marat. It really is not, but I got to back my choice. I can't get pushed into a corner. All right. Just the deal that he came on and the fact we got him for Brandon Carlo. And this guy has come in, exceeded all of his expectations. People were writing him off as a very low-end 3C. The kid has speed. He has a great shot. He's 21. I think younger than Mark Kostadinov. And
he is younger than Marat, yes.
He is younger than Marat. And his ceiling has exploded. He won Rookie of the Month in January, something like that. I just think he, down the road, is going to be such a reliable player for the Bruins. And the same could be said same can be said. Wow, same
Words are
can be
hard.
said. I have a sound effect queued if I wanted to use on you, but now I might have to use it sooner. I don't even know if it'll work well on my mic. The same can be said about Kustadinov, but I just love this guy, and I love Murat as well. But he is literally minty fresh. He's getting better every single game. He's 21 years old. This guy could be a 20 goal scorer, 50, 60, up to 70-point player once he reaches his flow state. His prime. And he is going to be a reliable player in your top 9 for the next 10 years, probably up to your top 6 if the ceiling gets there. So, yeah, going with Minty Fresh.
Just
Steve.
respectable. I mean,
Both are though. It's
it.
hard.
It's hard. I mean, on the stats for the season, it's definitely Minton just taking it, by storm. 29 points plus a plus minus of plus 17. He's played 63 games, but it's just for Murat, like he kind of just took it by storm. And he does have 27 points in 58 games, but for a plus 10, it's just I think I was more impressed with a guy, that kind of came out of nowhere. I wouldn't say like Minton just came out of nowhere. We're like, was he unexpected out of the trade? Sure, but I think the rise of Murat just coming up and playing was just more of a rocket than Minton. Like he's been
people did have a good eye for Kuzi when he came in. They thought that he was gonna be something down the line, maybe, but I don't think they assumed it would be happening this quick.
Exactly. This is very much like the rise to the rocket ship just went straight up. It was like, oh, this guy could be something in a couple of years, and it's like, oh shit, like now he's playing with pasta, and it's like, oh wow, like it's working, like he's trading off assists. His game is very complementary to what line he's on, and it's not just the fact that he can play with pasta. He can go from line 1, 2, or 3 and fill in on any different role that the team needs him. He's a very much a role player, and he can shift his mentality to whatever line and expectation he's on. And
Minton has shown the same too as well. He's been reliable.
Yeah, very true. But I think Kustadinov has shown it more up and down the lineup. I think Minton has been very consistent in the type of player he is. I just think that Kustadinov can play on any line and fill a role. And that's why he's so versatile. That's why I'm giving him the 6th player.
7th player.
7th player. Yeah, goalies don't count, though. Fuck 'em.
Numbers are hard. Words are hard for Jack, and numbers are hard for Steve.
You just stand there in the circle. Fuck them.
I'm just going to shoot a puck at your face this week, Cam.
We're on the same fucking team. You know
Exactly. Keep your head up.
Dude, I like both of your points. Jack brings up a phenomenal point with Minton winning the Rookie of the Month back in January. Steve has an excellent point where Murat Husnudinov can be inserted anywhere in the lineup, and he kind of adjusts his play accordingly. I don't know, but if he adjusts his game, but he definitely adjusts his positioning well. I will say this: anyone who plays with David Pastrnak is instantly better. So I kind of want to take that out of consideration, because Pastrnak is one of those players who does have the capacity to elevate other players as well. So I think if you put Minton in that situation, and Minton has played with Pastrnak as well, like let's not forget that. I think the deal for me is that I would like to see Fraser Minton win the 7th player award. That is actually, I think that was the pick I was leaning towards. And the reason being is that for a 21-year-old who comes in the lineup, plays consistent minutes, plays consistently. Admittedly, at times he had looked a little lost at post-Olympic break, but I mean, that's going to happen. He's 21, 22 years old. It's just impressive. His two-way game impresses me. His responsibilities as a center. Murat is also listed as a center, but he also plays the wing. I just look at both these players and wonder, the bottom 6 is going to be good for a while with them as soon as they grow into their frames. Minton with the possibility to become the 2C eventually, maybe. We'll see how that materializes. But for me, I think what impressed me about Minton is that you can't take him out of the lineup. Whereas in Marat, you have seen shifted in and out and played situational hockey. But
I don't
Minton
think you
is-
can make the argument you could take him out now, though. I think he has cemented himself, and I think if you take him out, you're dumb.
That's what I mean. Like you can't take him out. Whereas in Marat, you substituted him in and out for Asimon, for Steves, and
Well, no, that is what I'm saying. I think now Custody now, if you can't take him out, I think.
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
Beforehand, beforehand, but yeah, I think he's making more of a case. But again, I think that actually is more applicable to both now. Like you really can't take him out, and more Minton than Kuzi for time on. But the way that Kuzi has been playing as of late, you'd be stupid to take him out. But maybe you can have to. Maybe you do for a game, or like if they make the playoffs and you need to fill someone else for a different role, then sure. But like, I just think it'd be stupid too.
Yeah.
Good point.
For me,
That's a good point.
For me, it's just Minton. Steve, you brought up good points, and honestly, I could see it going to either one of them. I just wouldn't be surprised if Minton is the one that I don't want to say he runs away with it, because that's not fair to Husnudinov. I would just say it's going to be extremely close.
I think we can all agree it's going to be extremely close.
Yep.
Like, and you know what? To be fair, I don't care who wins it as long as it's one of those guys. You know what I mean? Like, they both have proven to be
just not
valuable.
Zadorov.
Yeah, well, how can Zadorov be the seventh player when he spends most of the time in the penalty box? I don't know. He's not really playing. He's just sitting down in the penalty box.
I just have one comment to that. So someone mentioned to me and was like, "Oh, don't talk bad about my future captain." I'm like, it's kind of hard to lead a team when you're sitting on the opposite bench or inside the glass opposite to you. So it's
basically.
If you think Zadorov is going to be a captain, I'm sorry, whoever this person is, this mysterious figure. I just want to say,
no.
Go touch some grass, and look at the sky, and really come to a conclusion that actually makes sense. Please. Just center yourself if you think the guy
ground yourself
in penalty minutes in the NHL is going to be a captain.
Also note that if it actually does happen, Steve will have a press conference and make a formal apology here on Hibruination.
I'm not apologizing for shit, but there will be a press conference. You bet your ass there will be a press conference to light up Bruins Nation on why a dude who spends most of the time in the penalty box is now the captain of the Boston Bruins.
Steve's going to gain media access, and he's going to go to that first press conference.
Steve's just going to have his own single.
You motherfucker!
He's going to have his own single episode that week.
I had a dream last night, and I got media access, and I was berating Don Sweeney on television. It was awesome. The questions I was asking was nuts. And you know what? It's like, if I get media access, they might have to ban me from the Garden, because I will be asking the craziest questions.
Fucking luck.
Do you know what they call that? It's like my favorite phrase in the entire world. Getting banned from like a sports venue. You get a letter of disinvite. You are a letter of disinvite. You are disinvited from the TD Garden.
TD Garden, that's awesome.
I would, if I ever got a letter like that, one, obviously that would suck, but two, I'm framing something like that because the word disinvite to me is hilarious. I hope it doesn't happen because I would cry.
Picked up a stink bug next to my computer. That was gross. Sorry, I had to say. I have it right here. Listen, if anyone's
good. Pick it up. Show and tell today.
Listen, if anyone who's watching the video, version of this, you fast forward, rewind a minute ago, and you see me go and just distraught when I see a bug in my desk. So I had to address it, but.
Jack's ADD just went into full gear. Like that was Fast and Furious ADD right there. Like that's like how that came in. We're talking about family.
Family.
I'm gonna hear from him next. All right, guys. Thank you for your opinions on all of that. I can't wait to see who the seventh player actually is. Let's go into our big bad Bruin this week, and then we'll close out the episode.
Show and tell. I'm dying, man.
Bruins had 4 games this week, just over 500 hockey because we did get a point against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Woo!
Yay. And in 2 games for me, it's going to be Pavel Zacha. 4 goals, 2 games, scored a hat trick against the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is the center. He is the center of the second best producing line in the NHL behind the McKinnon line of Colorado. And it's just kudos to him for all that he's doing, really fighting with Middlestat and Arvidsson to be the best that they can be night in, night out, one of the most consistent lines for the Boston Bruins. And congratulations on his second hat trick of the season against Pittsburgh. So well done, Zaka. You are my Big Bad Bruin of the week. What do you guys have?
I've got the same, Cam, and I feel like maybe you changed your answer to mine because I thought I saw you put a different player before, but I'm not going to.
Erroneous. I request a lawyer.
And for all you listeners, this is the reason why I don't type mine in. So I would get accused of copying. And so what I say is just right off the rip. This is how it goes.
This Thursday is gonna be fun, Cam. Pavel Zacha, the whole
We're on
line
the same fucking team.
I know. I just want to.
Why are you thinking about clapping me in the face with a puck? We're on the same beer league team, you muppet.
You muppet. That's crazy.
Jesus.
I was just saying it's gonna be fun.
Like, God, who wishes harm on their own teammate? Oh my God, Steve, who's your big bad Bruin? Because apparently Jack wants to give me a big bad bruise.
No, I wasn't even thinking of that when I said it's gonna be fun to play against you. But it's because I said in the first place that I don't want to hit you with a puck. I promise.
On the same
I just want
fucking team.
I just want to poke your sweet little ass. Anyways, this is ending in shambles.
All right,
gone off the rails.
Mine is Zacha because he's the only one who showed up today and he's getting points, and it seems like he's the only one that's actually doing things since the Olympic break. There you go, guys. Back next week to talk more shit about the Boston Bruins. Catch you later.
I have to play the horn, buddy. Like, we have to do this.
You're still freaking out.
Very few times this season have we actually gotten the horn and agreed on anything, and apparently I'm tweaking out. Yeah, Jack's over here just being like, can't wait to play against you. We're on the same fucking team.
I can't wait to play with you. Can't wait to play with you, Cam.
Okay. I thought you said against me.
No, I was like, this Thursday is going to be fun because we get to be little shitheads and play the game that we love, and all in the name of beer. It's wonderful.
You better score a hat trick just like Pavel Zacha did. But anyway, guys, whoa. Pavel Zacha is our Big Bad Bruin of the week, and Steve is done. He's done with the bullshit. He absolutely hates it. He can't stand it. He's out of here. Oh, man. Guys, any final thoughts before we close out?
Go Bruins?
Vibe check. Jack passed it. Steve, any word for the Boston Bums? Sorry, Bruins.
I got nothing. I already left them all out there.
I'm lost.
We got nothing. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for episode 67. We're tired, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like 67. I didn't even.
67. Don't forget to check out our website, don'tfuckwithmedia.com, for all of our blogs and much more. Connect with us on Twitter, Bluesky, TikTok, YouTube, and through the website for your thoughts, where you can also be heard here on the episode. You can even send us a voice memo. You can find that on our Twitter, or you can send us a direct message. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to all of us on all of our platforms. And as always, we love you guys. And until next time, go Bruins.